So my name, like Philip said, is Monika Derrien. I work as a social science researcher for the Forest Service's Pacific Northwest Research Station based in Seattle. And a group of us has developed and implemented a framework to help support collaborative, action-oriented, community-centered research that helps connect young people with opportunities to be scientists and advocates for change within their communities. And so when I'm talking about community science, I'm talking about a wide range of participatory science approaches, including everything from what's typically called citizen science to community-based participatory action research projects, so that whole spectrum. And the new thing that we brought to community science is collective impact. So collective impact is used in situations where there are many groups with overlapping interests within a geographic area, but no formal organizational entity that coordinates them. And so collective impact introduces this sort of tiered organizational approach in which a backbone or a core collaborative group offers facilitation for convening potential project partners and coordinating interests and activities. And so in the framework that we've been developing and testing, which we're calling this core collaborative community science framework, we're building on the foundations of both community science and these collective impact approaches to advance a common agenda. And so over the last several years, we've been developing core collaborative community science in several projects across the Green Duwamish watershed. And so this watershed is really socioeconomically and ecologically diverse watershed, stretching from the crest of the Cascade Range down to Puget Sound in Seattle and across these diverse agricultural, suburban, urban, and wild landscapes. And so our group's common agenda in the Green Duwamish watershed focuses on understanding and improving the distribution of local environmental benefits and hazards to reduce persistent environmental injustices. And so today, our panelists, we're going to focus on just one of those projects in the lower portion of the watershed in the Duwamish Valley. And so communities in the Duwamish Valley are surrounded by many industrial facilities and transportation networks, including air and rail, trucking, the port. And relatedly, residents face many social and environmental injustices, including health disparities such as asthma and obesity rates. And residents have a lower life expectancy compared to national and Seattle averages. At the same time, really well-articulated community priorities, such as in the Duwamish Valley Action Plan, which I've pictured here, include mitigating air pollution and its human health effects. And so our backbone or core collaborative group convened a group of community leaders and local agency representatives that were interested in community science approaches to help understand and improve air quality in the Duwamish Valley. And so the group became really interested in the potential adaptation of a study that had been completed in Portland, Oregon a few years earlier, in which Forest Service scientists had collected moss samples from street trees to identify areas of potential air quality concern. And so the group recruited Sarah Jovan, who had been involved in that work, to lead the adaptation of methods used in Portland to be feasible in a community science context, and especially engaging youth leaders as scientists in that work. And so I'm going to pass it to Sarah in just a moment to tell us about how we can use moss to do this and all the ways that moss can help us do this work together. But first, I wanted to take a moment to just share that the interests of all of those community organizations that you saw on that last slide and other types of partners, we developed our work together in a very different model than the Portland study. And so this was a model that really centered community interests. And so everything from the idea of the study, the design of the study, the data collection, sharing results, and acting on those results has involved all types of project partners. And one of the foundational pieces was that our project team, that grew to include dozens of community leaders, youth corps participants, scientists, agency officials, and others. We really worked to share responsibilities across all the different project phases that encompass this sort of work. And so we call these dynamic shared responsibilities and leadership because they vary over the phases. And so you'll see in this figure here, the responsibilities are never 0% or 100% for any entity. it's truly been jointly and collaboratively driven, and I think that's been really central to its success. So keep that in mind as you hear from our project partners today. So I'm going to pass it to Sarah next. Tell us about moss and how we used it in this project. So Sarah, over to you.